Hey everybody, it's Stacia. I'm super excited to share with you. We have a special guest today, and actually this special guest is super important to me because this is actually the whole reason why I became a SaaSpreneur. If you're new to my YouTube channel or just coming across one of my videos, my name is Stacia Kennedy and I am an online entrepreneur, online marketing, digital marketing consultant, a strategist, whatever you may be. But I've actually transitioned over the last year and a half to a SaaSpreneur because of this man right here. So if you don't know Jason Wardrop, he's an entrepreneur from a very young age, had a lot of side hustles, as many entrepreneurs of us have gone through, and trying to find that one thing. And I believe I found the one thing that has really in the last year and a half exponentially grew my business and the strategy and offer. But anyways, this man has been a real estate SaaSpreneur over the last actually in 2015. He partnered way back when you had to actually hire developers and start your own software company. And he's actually, we're going to ask him some really hard questions about how he got started and how you can actually do this without a lot of the struggles. So let me bring up Jason Wardrop.
Stacia, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I'm super excited to have you here because I actually came across your YouTube channel years ago and I've bought a few courses. I've been in the real estate marketing space. And then I had a client that came up and it'd been a while, been a few years since I've, gone back through, and I was actually looking you up again to find out, to update myself on real estate marketing, generating leads and through Facebook ads. I don't know. It's actually looking for my old course I bought from you. And I was like, where is it? And then I saw that you were doing, the SaaS with HIghlevel as a white label. So tell me, let's go back before we go into that part, but go back how you got started. Because when I got started, to be honest, I watched one of your webinars and I was like, I could do this on ClickFunnels and put this all together by myself. So it's like, why would I want to do this?
It looks pretty easy. If he can do it, I can do it,
So tell me how you got started building your own SaaS business.
Yeah, so mine goes back. I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never had a normal job. And when I was in college, well, so even going back a little bit farther, all growing up, my dad, my uncles, they were all entrepreneurial, and most of them were in real estate or some form of real estate. And so I had the opportunity to learn about real estate and how, cash flow is king, which, are kind of all the hot buttons of YouTube nowadays. You got Grant Cardone preaching about all this stuff. But I was able to see that from an early age. And so I was thinking always that I was going to want to do real estate. And so, but I always kind of was interested in the tech side of things too, growing up. I was nerdy with my computers classes and design, all that stuff. So in college, I did a summer internship with my uncle who does commercial real estate. He has several shopping centers. And so me and one of my cousins, we went and just worked for him for the summer for free. But he's like, you'll get experience, be able to see what it's like. And this was the route I thought I wanted to go down. And after a summer of doing this, I'm like, man, this seems like the worst. This does not vibe with me at all. I don't really enjoy going out and searching out the properties and doing the due diligence, all this stuff. And so, but at the same time, I was always studying online things. And I thought, online's super cool. So then I kind of realized I'm like, software, how they charge monthly software subscriptions is almost like having tenants paying you rent every single month. And I thought, that could be cool because instead of going and doing your traditional real estate and getting whether it's an apartment complex or, more of a commercial like shopping center tenants in, you just get users signed up, paying you a couple $100 a month and grow it that way. And so, I mean, this is back before I knew anything about anything. And I had met this developer through a friend just at a lunch meeting, and he had some success with the software company, scaled it up. He wasn't very smart, lost literally everything. And so we were kind of talking, and he's like, hey, we should do this, software program. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, and we should do this, this, and this. And kind of like, so we were kind of starting to collaborate. And actually now I'm thinking about, I don't know if I've ever shared all these different moving pieces anywhere. So this is a little bit more additional behind the scenes for y'all. So anyway, so we kind of collaborated. We were working together. We started out like, it was kind of, I was working at full time just because I was just, I had nothing else going on. This guy was a little bit older, had a family, had a full-time day job. And so it was us two. And then we ended up bringing on a few other developers. So we're all just kind of working on it part-time. And we were doing it for about 1.5 years or so. And we even like I had gone through and I pitched to like some Microsoft Ventures startup program. Like we were going through, like we were like in the top, I'd say probably top 5 to 10 to win this like potential scholarship to get funding for the software company. And then honestly, I don't even remember the details, but that company blew up. Like it was an internal partnership issues, like a lot going on. And so what I thought was going to be my first like software success ended up blowing up. But what we did is we'd already built like not a lot of the software platform, but enough to like get something like to show something. And so what we did is we signed agreements saying like, look, everyone can now have a copy of the code. Everyone can go their own way, do whatever they want. And so what I did was I took my copy of the code, and I was not a developer. And so I went and found another developer to partner up with. And then I was like, well, if we're going to really be able to pay this developer, got to raise some money. So I went and started doing all the investor pitch meetings. We raised a little bit of seed funding, and then it was off to the races. So anyway, that was maybe more than you wanted to hear, but there's the full background of how I got into that. So that was about May 1st, 2015, when he officially launched the real estate CRM, but it wasn't even in the real estate space at that point. So, yeah.
Okay. So then, I mean, see, that's where we're bringing that all up right now, because I want to also share with them now what we found to make things super easy for people who are not developers.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So anyway, so we went and at the time I told my developer partner, and he was a little bit older. He had a family, all that stuff. So he wasn't like, I was just always in the mindset, and I thought all entrepreneurs were in the mindset of like, work for nothing and just work for sweat equity and make it happen. And then I get out and I like realize, no, like almost everyone wants to get paid and they want to make money from day one. Which I'm like, I was just a little delusional coming in from like more of an entrepreneurial family. And so that's why we had to go through and raise money, because he was wanting, like not like a full-time salary, but like a pretty decent sized salary, plus equity and all that stuff. And so we got to the point after, I mean, we'll kind of skip over some things, so we're not telling every little detail, but we got to the point where we started growing. We finally found a niche that was working for us, which was real estate, started making money, started growing, and got to the point where not only do we have to raise money initially to start this software company and really be able to go full time, we were also in development costs paying $40,000 to $50,000 per month for developers, right? Just to have a product to be able to deliver. And so that's kind of like what kind of going to what you're saying now is when I saw HIghlevel 2 years ago and I started meeting with the guys and they were telling me about what you were able to do. And I was just looking at my own personal experience of like, okay, you could either white label HIghlevel for $497 a month, have all the features plus this massive team of developers continually building new things that you don't even have to think about. You don't have to worry about hiring product managers, designers, developers, all these different pieces and managing the team. But for $500 a month, you could basically have your own software versus the whole path that I went through. I was like, man, that is a no brainer. And I already knew, because probably about 2-3 years into our software, we had marketing agency owners reaching out to us saying, hey, can we white label your software? So we explored that for a little bit, but then we're like, it's kind of like we're chasing 2 different client avatars. So we kind of stopped doing that after a little bit of time. So I don't know, I guess I have the unfair advantage of, experience of like, I already knew it was a desire for people in the marketplace, right? Before it was like becoming more popular to jump on, be an affiliate for Highlevel. I already knew the alternative if you wanted to start a software company, and just seeing it, I was like, this is kind of a no-brainer. And
well, let's go back one more step too. Like, how did you go from, okay, like there must be a solution to, like, were you already doing digital marketing for real estate, and then like saying, oh, I need to make a software? Like, how did you get to that part?
Yeah, great question. So before, like, through all this time, so that was May of 2015 when we officially started what was Arsenal MKG, our real estate CRM. And when I first, kind of met that developer partner, it was 2013. So it's about almost 2 years. And then, like, obviously that exploded, all that stuff. But before that, I was kind of dabbling with just like affiliate marketing, just a bunch of random stuff. And one thing that never made sense to me was, which is, I mean, it seems like, you look at the software landscape now, and you're like, well, duh, Jason. But like back in the day, there was not an all-in-one solution. Like, there was like a software for email marketing. There was a software like Lead Pages for landing pages. Then it wasn't even like, it wasn't Lead Pages, didn't even have websites. So you had to get like a landing page software, email marketing software, a website software, a CRM. So like there was different softwares for everything, a social media posting software. And so I was looking at this and I'm like, man, it'd be really nice to like just have something that's an all-in-one solution, because I'm having to, for my own business, I'm having to have all these different platforms. And I remember meeting with advisors back at the time, and they're like, no software company will ever do that, because the ones that really grow, they just focus on one thing. And I was like, and I see some, like, there's some wisdom in that. But then we went and we tried, and I'm not saying we were ever the most successful, because we weren't, for sure not. But we were trying to go through and make a solution that was all in one for small local business owners. And initially, before real estate, so kind of like we were talking about, it was like all in one. And I was like, look, this works for any business owner, like, because it did. It was like, we were integrated with Facebook ads. We had landing pages, email, text follow-up, social media posting, like a CRM, all the things that any business owner would need. But then what I quickly realized, and this is why I coach people to do this now, is we didn't have a specific niche we were going after. And so we were trying to speak to everyone, which when you're trying to speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one. It's not resonating. So like I'd go pitch to a dentist and I'd be like, yeah, like this works. This is how it works. And well, do you have any other dentists that have done this? And I was like, well, here's this chiropractor that we helped. And he's like, why? Like, that's a chiropractor. I want to see how it works for dentists, right? And so that's how we were really just like casting a wide net initially. And then I had a really good case study with a real estate agent, worked really well. And then I was like, well, maybe I can, leverage that to get another case study. And then we kind of just kept like getting more agents from previous case studies that we were getting. And I remember even like 90 days into it, I had this big insurance brokerage. They had like hundreds of agents approach me. And I had, like, literally a month before, I'd like committed. I was like, I'm just doing real estate. I'm going to say no to anyone and everyone else. I had this warm referral of this massive brokerage company, insurance. And I remember it was, I don't know, maybe it was stupid, but like at the time, I remember it was very hard. I was like, sorry, we just work with real estate agents. So I turned them down just to double down on real estate, which who knows, if it could have been, even more successful, but real estate worked out just fine.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. People say when you find a niche, you get rich. So
exactly.
So when I saw you, and I was like, oh, when I came back through and I saw your presentation about starting your own SaaS business, and I'm like, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, that's what he was doing. Oh my goodness, how smart. Like, I had no idea at the time. I was looking at it like, well, I could piece all these, and that's what I would do, is actually tell my clients, you need to get all of these different softwares, and nobody can ever do it right. No one had at the time did it all in one. No one could be the best at all of this, because just whatever we had in the marketplace, Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, all of the different things, could only do one thing really right at the time. And yeah, so I'm so glad that I came across your presentation about what you had done, and you had grown it to, well, prior to, in that business I noticed that it was like 15,000 clients. Like,
Yep.
can you tell us a little bit more about like what it took to do that? Because I just think that's there's so many moving pieces of building your own SaaS business and then trying to get all these clients on board too.
Yeah, what it took was a lot of patience and a lot of determination and probably a lot of stupidity, to keep going down the road to make that happen. I see, like, and I fall prey to this too. Like, I'm the one making the YouTube videos of, make 10K in 90 days, whatever, because it's what gets clicks, right? But the thing that I don't know, I try to tell people, and I've been thinking about it even more so recently, is like, the thing that really gets results is consistent output, and multiply that by time. And the longer your time horizon on it, the more successful you can be, right? It's like, if you go and you're like, oh, I want to do what Jason did and get 15,000 paying clients, you give yourself 3 months, you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be stressed, and you're going to quit, right? Make that longer, give it a year, you're still probably going to be pretty overwhelmed and stressed, especially if you've never done it, right? But give yourself, 5+ years. We were doing business for 6 years. It becomes a little bit more, and as you start, like, baby steps, starts to become a little bit more of reality, right? You start small, take baby steps, stepping stones, and every step along the way, you're learning new things of how to improve upon different things. And that's where, like, also I feel like I had an unfair advantage with jumping in the high level affiliate game, because, like, people that don't know my background about me having 6 years of building the software platform, we were at the High Level Summit just this last month, and someone came up to me and was like, "Oh, how long did it take to, start seeing results with High Level Affiliate Program?" And I just jokingly was like, "Oh, like,
2 years.
I actually crushed it first month, like first 30 days, I was already doing really well." And they're like, "No way, that's crazy." And I was like, "Well, caveat, I've been doing this for 6 years prior, so I wasn't starting completely from zero. Like, I knew the blueprint, the format, and then even looking at now, because now, like, I don't have to worry about managing a full product manager, development team, all that stuff. So I'm not my attention is not split. I feel like the amount of, like, the progress I've made even these last 2 years of learning how to get software clients has, like, expedited, because it's all I focus on now, right? Whereas before, like, yeah, it was a majority of my time, but I also had to be like, okay, product, here's what we're, like, doing. And obviously I probably could have built the team out a little bit better, but it's been cool to see, okay, if this is the one thing I'm focusing on, the growth that's come from it. So yeah, it's been crazy.
Cool. Yeah, I think 100% of it's been mind blowing for me as a mindset too. Like, I guess I wanted to ask you too, how, like, a lot of people coming across this may also just be new to the whole SaaS, the word SaaS, right? Software
Mhm.
as a service. And I had to train myself, and with your coaching actually have been helping me get away from the traditional done for you. Like, I'm just so used to, like, doing the thing and putting, like I said, having the clients go and subscribe to all these things and putting the stuff together. But with this model, becoming a SaaSpreneur, I'm just selling the software as a service and pulling myself away from that. Or like, what would you say, or I guess the question would be, what would your advice be on someone who's just learning that this is a whole different thing than just offering services to a client? It's like you're actually just promoting a software that doesn't have to be you. Like, I just was so impressed of the opportunity to change my mindset around creating a particular business, and actually a real business, and not a business like branded to me
Mhm.
as the one fulfilling the product or service.
Yeah. And this is something that, I mean, I think every newer entrepreneur, solopreneur, I know I've dealt with this a ton in the past. has difficulty with, especially when it's like your baby, right? Because you think that people are coming to your business or your software or your whatever widget you're selling because of you. And the truth is like this whole thing, this whole opportunity, it's way bigger than you. It's way bigger than any one individual. And so, like, you just got to think about it like Elon Musk, right? You go buy a Tesla, you're not expecting to ever talk to Elon Musk. They've got the whole chain of command. And so that's where like a lot of times people, because like here's the deal: software it's not like you sign them up, you never have to touch it, you forget about all the clients, all that stuff. Like, no, there's still service involved, there's still support involved, but you don't have to be the person, right? And I know in the beginning, when I first hired that first initial person, man, it was weird. It was very difficult. And then I even remember after my first hire, I freed up like 80% of my time in my day. And it took me, I remember talking to my wife about it. It took me probably 2 to 3 weeks to even figure out what I should be doing with my time in my day, because I'm like, whoa, this is so crazy that like I just hire this person. They're doing almost like 80% of like the, just the customer emails, the chat support, all this stuff that I was like spending so much time on. And so then I got to like step back and refocus on what was most important in my business to really move the needle. And then another thing that kind of blew my mind was I just, kind of like just the naive entrepreneur, like I was telling you earlier, is I just thought everyone wanted to be the entrepreneur. Everyone wanted to be, doing the marketing, the sales, because that's what I loved. And I was like, man, I just don't want to hire anyone for support because that just sucks. No one wants to sit there and answer emails, And then I started hiring people and I realized, man, no, that is like some people's zone of genius. It is what they love. They would, and they would hate to do sales, or they would hate to make videos, or hate to do all the things that I do. And so that like opened up my mind. And I know some people watching this are like, well, duh, but like me coming from like, I never worked a normal job. I didn't even know how like typical weekly meetings were structured, or different people in a company were supposed to really be handled. Like, to me, it was almost like mind blowing. I'm like, wow, okay. Like, I don't want, I'm not just selling my time as a service, as where it's like the software and tools as a service. And then it's not, they're not buying, even if you are the face, like I very much was the face, but they didn't care about me, right? They cared about what it was going to do for their business. And if hiring somebody to be able to answer all of these support emails or questions at a faster time frame than I could, that was what it was going to be the better result for them, right? So anyway, there's just like a lot of little like realizations as you're going down the road that you kind of like, oh, okay, like little aha moments that are fun
Right.
to open your
And
eyes.
then at least from the beginning, positioning yourself like, yes, like I'm here like as the face in the beginning, but I have a team. And so as a solopreneur, you're usually like, no, it's just all me.
Well, and
So
even at that, I remember probably that first year or so, I was like on my phone constantly. Like, we didn't have kids; it was just my wife and I, and like I felt like if I got an email or a Slack message from someone on my team, or email from a client, whatever, I felt like 9 p.m. I had to answer that, right? Weekends, had to answer it. Vacation, had to answer it. And I honestly got to a point where like I didn't like who I was becoming. And it was even at like it was very low scale too. It wasn't like we were getting tons of new clients, but I just wanted to make sure they were having a great customer experience. They weren't going to cancel and they were going to stay. Because I was just, like it's not like we were having tons of money coming in the beginning. And then I realized, you know what? If doing this whole entrepreneurial thing is like completely killing my lifestyle, it's not worth it.
right.
And so it got to a point where like some emails, I would see them pop in 9 p.m. And I just was like, you know what? This is an issue right now. It's probably going to still be an issue in the morning. And guess what? I can probably handle it in the morning. And I bet you that person on the other end will survive. They will not die, right? And
Nobody
so
does.
I slowly started doing that. And then I slowly started turning off my notifications. And then I slowly stopped even checking any apps that had to deal with work. And it was just, it made life so much better. It made you want to like do this for the long haul. and be enjoyable. And like the next morning or whenever you got to the emails or the Slack messages or whatever it was, crazy thing is like people kind of survive, and then they kind of just like get used to a cadence, and they're like, okay, like I'm shooting Jason this email at 10 p.m. I'm not expecting him to answer till probably tomorrow morning, right? Which is kind of normal.
Right.
So
Well, then I think that's what I'm saying is that we train people how to work with us. And if I'm jumping at every single email, they're used to that. And
yes,
so training myself not to do that
and then
anymore.
they take advantage too,
Right.
because they're like,
Right.
oh well, they're open to it, so you're just going to keep doing it, and then you're going to keep expecting them giving you the world, which it's not healthy for either person.
So that kind of reminds me of the book, like the E-Myth, right? Are you working in your business or on your business? What books would you recommend someone who's starting their entrepreneur journey in this space?
Yeah, so one thing closely related to what we're talking about right now was for sure the E-Myth Revisited. Right there is a great book by Michael Gerber. Another great one that just came out, one of my mentors, is called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. So Dan Martell, I was in his software mastermind. He's had like
I saw that. I've seen some of his ads.
Yeah, he's grown quite a bit on social media.
Yeah.
I think he started 7 software companies, had 4 exits. He's now like a big time VC, and he talks about and I've heard this concept before, but I loved in his book how he like breaks it down, where it's like you got $5 an hour tasks, you got $500 an hour tasks, but he breaks it down even more granular. And I love the way he kind of portrayed it of like, look, buy back your time, right? And he even gives formats of like, if you're making X amount of money per year, he has like a framework of you should be, if there's a task below, I don't remember the numbers, but like, let's say you're making easy math, $1 million a year or something like that. If there's something that you could pay someone, I think it was like $250 an hour or less, then you should be outsourcing that thing. You should be paying them to do it because your time is not worth that amount of that's project, whatever it might be. Which I mean, I don't remember all the numbers. You have to go read the book, but it then opens your mind. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. A lot of these things I can actually afford, and it kind of, because like I'm frugal. I'm a tightwad. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I could just do that. Like I could do that better, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. Like rather not spend the money, where it's actually sometimes better to spend the money to free up your time so you can have more creative thinking and strategic thinking and be more of like the master strategic planner of your business, right?
Yeah, that's why I saw your software and I was like, well, I can just do this
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
at the time. But big picture, 6 years later, I'm like, oh, that's what he did. Like he
Yeah.
was doing something that he found a solution to get people to that point faster and position it where I'm not, because before, I mean, I maybe made a couple $100 here and there for affiliate, commission on referring these other tools, but to have your own software where you're making a reoccurring monthly income,
Yep.
so eye-opening. So we are actually at the top or the end of half an hour here. So I'm actually going to wrap this up. But if you're live, actually watching me live here, you get to have kind of an insider. I want you guys to stay tuned for a little bit longer, because I am actually going to give you guys an insight on some more hard questions for Jason, because I still have a little bit more time. But if you're not watching this live, it's actually going to be cut out into my membership. So if you want to learn more about starting your own SaaS business, then go over to stacykennedy.com. And actually, Jason and I have put together, he's actually allowed me to take some of his trainings and show you step by step on how to start your SaaS business. If you're watching the replay, you'll definitely want to go over to stacykennedy.com, get access to that step-by-step training and the rest of this extended live stream interview. So we'll get into the good stuff now. So I'm so excited
to
ask you more questions about this behind the scenes, right? So like you had 50, and speaking of Dan Martell and having 15,000, what also is mind blowing for me is the exit strategy, because I was just like, oh my God, you sold. Tell me more about selling the business. How did you figure out, like, okay, it's going so well, you have 15,000 clients. Now, where did that come from of like actually exiting and selling that business?
Yeah, honestly, it kind of got to a point where I just ready to be done. To be completely honest, I'd been running that business for 6 years. Real estate agents were my market, and I had never been a real estate agent, and so I wasn't like I learned a ton about real estate agents because you kind of have to be able to sell to them and know what really makes them tick. But as I started to grow on YouTube, which I started my YouTube channel just to get more real estate agent clients, right? Making videos on that. But I started gaining a following of more entrepreneurs, marketing agency owners. People wanted to do what I had done. And when I would have conversations with them versus conversations with a realtor, it was just, I don't know, so much more enjoyable because like you're able to sympathize and like know exactly the pain points and like and I know the pain points of real estate, but it's like you've lived it, you've gone through it, you know exactly like what's it like. Even our conversation right now, right? You're trying to start a software business. I've done it. I've gone through the whole like everything. I know what worked. I know what didn't work. I know like all those different things. And so the conversations like this are just a little bit more, they're more fun and more connecting. And so that was, I remember after doing it for so long, I was like, could keep doing this, but it's, it's kind of just, I don't know, when I jump on calls with real estate agents, since I was not a real estate agent, it wasn't as enjoyable. And so I saw that, like, as I started growing this other following, I was like, it'd be more fun to do the same thing, but serve this other audience that is more me. And that's kind of what also, and believe me, it took probably, I remember it was probably like 2 years leading up to it. I'd call my brother like every week. He's probably so annoyed. And I'd always be like, dude, should I just get out of this thing and sell it and whatever. And he had started an app business and he had sold it and was living in New York and all that stuff. So he had already kind of gone through that as well. But he was just like, I don't know, dude. So it was like, it's just kind of this never ending conversation. And then finally I was like, you know what? No, I gotta just make a decision. Indecision is what absolutely kills everything. And so, made the decision. It was like, okay, gonna exit this business, and which long process in and of itself, and which we don't need to go into all the details there. But then, yeah, it was. I mean, looking back, hindsight 2020, it was a great decision to get out, and it's been a great decision moving forward with. I don't know, just like the way my business is set up and run. I really enjoy it now too.
So I'm sure it was pretty difficult. Like you said, it was probably your first, and it was like your baby.
Yep.
But I think a lot of very successful, wealthy people, they do that. They buy businesses or they create one, and then the intention is to eventually exit it out.
Mm-hmm.
So what's like that actually inspired me to like this is what I want to build. I want to build something that I could eventually exit out, and I don't think we said the numbers, but it was $6 million you sold your company for. I mean,
yeah. So I would say the best advice probably I've ever gotten with this, because I think everyone's starting out, is always like, yeah, I want to go start a business to then sell, right?
Mhm.
And the truth is I mean, we know the statistics of entrepreneurship. I think it's like 90% of them fizzle out after a very short amount of time, right? Which HIghlevel makes it so much easier because the cost of starting and everything. Like, there's never been an easier time to be an entrepreneur than right now with the internet, the software tools, everything we've got at our fingertips today. But the truth is, the best way to make and start a business is start a business and create it with beginning with the end in mind of not like some number of like, I want to sell for 10 million or whatever it is, but create a business that matches your lifestyle, right? And so even this, with like going through and becoming an affiliate with HIghlevel, I'd gotten to a point where I'd made some good money, had money invested. I was pretty content with where I was at. But also I was still pretty young, and I was still energetic, wanted to do something. and I had just built up a team and done all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily want to go through and build another big team. I don't want to manage people. I don't want to be able to like have to worry about all that stuff. And I thought, you know what? Even if it meant like not making as much, 100% of the commissions or whatever, I'm fine with that, right? Because I'd been down that road. I know what that looked like. Even though like white labeling Highlevel is significantly easier than building your own, because the costs are just so low. I was like, you know what? I'm fine paying like partner. So I actually interviewed Sean Clark multiple times. I never actually talked to Robin or Varun, but Sean Clark, I talked with him multiple times before I even jumped in and committed to promoting them. So I wanted to make sure like I knew where they were going. I saw the software, but I also want to know the people behind it. I want to make sure that it was like someone I was aligned with, and their vision and their principles, their core values of just them as human beings as well. And so, and I know I'm going on a huge tangent here. I don't remember what the original question
Oh, I
was,
love it.
but I
No,
was just like, like I want to make sure this next phase, I'm building a business that I want. And so it was, like I was like, I know, like I have the skill sets that I know how to really grow this thing, with leverage, which that leverage is media, which would be YouTube, social media, and then the leverage of software, which is monthly recurring. It's built, it's always compounding and building, which wouldn't require a lot of my time. So that first year plus of promoting Highlevel, it was just me. And I'm not talking like it was me working 80 hours a week. It was me working 20, maybe 30 hours a week. Cause like, and to me, that's like a good amount. Cause like I actually enjoy working and doing the thing, and grew it to a pretty good amount. And then finally at that point, I was like, probably am getting more customer emails and all that stuff than I want to handle. And then I hired out two VAs in the Philippines, which they've been great. So they've been on with me for about a year now. And so it's just me, two VAs. With my real estate business, I was always like focused on like the vanity metrics of like big time revenue numbers. And after doing that and hitting those big numbers, I was like, you know what? I'm more profit. Like I just want profit. I don't really care about like the big revenue numbers. And so I've just strategically, like this, almost like kind of this second go around, even though like there was many failed attempts before Arsenal actually made it big. But like I kind of just like reverse engineered what I wanted and how I wanted my life to look and what I wanted to be able to do while growing the business, the team size. And I feel like that brings a lot more peace, where like I actually would never want to sell this business. And I know it's a little bit different selling an affiliate business and your own software, all that stuff, valuations are different, but I feel like I've created a business that I'd be stupid to sell it, honestly. Cause like it doesn't require a ton of my time. It's a business I enjoy. And the people, if you talk to them, that they have a business that is somewhat successful, mainly the reason they want to sell it typically is because they hate it. They don't enjoy it. There's all these problems. They're having to personally deal with the problems. They don't have other people dealing with the problems. And that's usually when people are just like, I just want out.
yeah, I definitely. So that's actually a question that I would like to ask you too, of between the two, because I do both, right? Like I have my SaaS business and I have my affiliate business as well. And so what I feel like, well, like you said, you had that experience, right? I didn't have never experienced building a SaaS business. So I'm doing kind of, but basically, yeah, I'm doing both at the
Yep.
same time. And
Yep.
I feel like there's been a few people who struggle with that. What is your advice on, I feel like I do need, I've been dabbling in, or not dabbling, but I've been growing my SaaS because I want to learn more of the product, of course, that I'm selling. And like, I'm glad that you were in that position. With any affiliate business, you want to make sure that you're promoting the people behind it who are, aligned to you as well too. But what are your tips on someone who's brand new and doing both?
Yeah. My biggest advice is pick one and focus on it. And here's the deal. I like that is the I would say, what is the word even? That's like the optimal advice. lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
I know that, right? A lot easier said than done, because you're thinking like, oh, well, then I'm like having the balance, not putting all my eggs in one basket. It's more fun to like do both. Well, it just kind of depends on what you want to do, right? If you really
Mhm.
want to like grow something, like the more pressure that you put on just one single point, the more it's going to grow, right? Whereas like if you're always switching back and task switching, all that stuff, trying to go and like it's just like a lot of energy and mental power, right? Because that's what it comes down to, is like you could even have the time. You're like, well, I got the time. Well, do you have the energy and the mental power, right? Because
And the
like
lifestyle,
I'll
like
tell
you
you one
said.
thing. I work pretty good in the day, and then it hits about 2:30, and I'm like, oof, I need to check out. I'm like exhausted, right?
I
I mean,
know.
I still have time in the day, and like, yeah, if I went, I should probably go hit the gym or eat or something like that. But I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of getting burned out. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I was just gonna say, like you said, the lifestyle, right? Like repeating that part, like how do you want your business to be, regardless of what side that you choose, as it being in an affiliate business or starting your own SaaS business. Like how do you want that lifestyle to be? Because you can't.
Yeah.
I always tell people you can't drive two cars at the same time,
Yep.
right?
And here's the deal. I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to like build up that like my path was so hard. I was walking up both ways in the snow, all that, like the joke. But like legit, once like white labeled SaaS with affiliate, and I know like there's gonna be people watching this like, oh no, it's not true. Affiliate side is so much easier. Is it though? Like the white labeled SaaS, you like removing product development completely, on like on an expense side and a mindset side and like energy, brain power, all that stuff. Man, that is a huge burden to offload, right? And then once you go through and like look at it, if once you get your first, I'd say 10, we'll say 20, we'll be generous. Once you get your first 20 customers, whether it's affiliate or on the white labeled SaaS, you're at a point where like your core costs are covered for sure on the affiliate side, because you're giving up 60% to HighLevel to manage all that stuff for you.
Right.
But let's say you're charging like even, what is it, $200 a month. You got 20 people on. If my math's right, I think that's like $4,000 a month, something like that. $4,000 a month is enough to pay like an HL Pro Tools or Extendly or whatever the companies do that do the white labeled support. They handle all of your support, and then also have enough money. And then from there, it's like economies of scale. Like once you have your core costs covered, like it's just getting more people on, right? So do you want
Right.
to get more people on at 100% commission rate or a 40% commission rate, right? Because like the core of it is like you need to bring people on, you need to onboard them and support them, right? Product development, all that stuff is, you don't think about it. So it's like, yeah, if you have like organically, you could easily get to 20 people, 20 clients, and then you're paying someone to onboard, which could be like a one-off thing, right? You could even charge a premium to have someone onboard it and just pay that all to that person. And then you have somebody supporting, doing the white label support. And then from there, your margins are absolutely insane,
Yeah,
right?
I love it.
So I mean, like to me, I don't think that there's one is better than the other. I think they're just different. If you're like completely beginner, affiliate route might be easier just because like I didn't even know what an SOP was, right? Standing operating procedures when I first started. I just knew like, okay, I need to get them on and I need to do this, right? And so like if you don't know like, okay, how to fulfill, or I don't know, like I think honestly, I don't know. I think it's 100% up to you, but it's just like you just got to choose one and become the master at whatever one you choose.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that advice. I mean, if you go the affiliate route starting off, you can also just, you're literally as an affiliate. That's what's great about being an affiliate for any program, I guess, is like you can, of course, the fulfillment is based on the company on HighLevel. They have 24/7 support. Starting your own SaaS business, you're responsible. You're white labeling it. They're buying you or the business. And then you can, like, I was actually just did a video yesterday on HL Pro Tools. Yeah. And there's a couple, and that when I was like, why did she tell me this earlier? I had to look through your stuff. Like, oh my
Oh, I
God.
know. I should have. I need to be better at that. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But
Yeah.
there's
No.
so many complementary products
Right.
to high level,
Right.
but it's hard to know how and when to introduce them
Right.
when someone's ready, but not to overwhelm. Right.
Right.
So it's
That's
like,
true.
but I will say this on the top of that, because like high level does have 24/7 support because of the
Hmm.
affiliate program, but they also have tens of thousands of users. So
Yes.
the support, I hear complaints about support all the time, right?
Yeah.
And
And
so if you
actually,
have
I
if
do.
you have 10, let's say your first 10 to 20 users you sign up as an affiliate,
Hmm.
well, they're waiting in line with all these tens of thousands of other people. Whereas if you get 10 to 20 signups on your own white label SaaS, like the support is just like, even if you don't even know what you're doing, just because you're there, you're present, you're responding, they're going to feel like the experience is significantly better
Hmm.
because they're being heard.
Right.
Right. And a lot of times all they want is just to be heard. And then if you don't know what the heck they're talking about, go figure it out. Go watch some
Right.
YouTube videos or go read some support docs and be like,
Exactly.
okay, now I've figured it out. Right.
Yeah.
And just jump into it.
Exactly. I know. I've just opened up open office hours. I've been taking a lot of calls from a lot of you guys who have been watching here as well too, who signed up under my link as well. And I've experienced that same thing. I've like called high level myself. I'm like, why am I calling them? I know more than this. To be honest, like I'm like at this point, I've been doing this for a year and a half, and sometimes I'm just like, why did I even call them? I figured it out myself, but that took, of course, time, and I'm just obsessed, and I'll go through and watch YouTube videos, and and so I
Yep.
guess that's a good thing if you're coming across my information, and that's another reason or a bonus to buy it from my link. You could definitely just go straight to high level, but buying it from an affiliate like myself or Jason, it's you get that extra bonuses to be able to have access to myself and the tutorials that you get and bonuses.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's the same price either way. So might as well jump in with Station and get the bonuses she offers because, high levels only can offer so much and they're going to offer to
Mhm.
everyone anyway, even if you sign up through her link. So,
Right. Thanks. Um, one of the things we're talking about too is that everybody's just in a different level of where they're what they're looking to build, things like that. Where was I going? I was going to ask you what as an affiliate, you're one of the, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. Sorry. He's the top number one affiliate now for long standing. Like it's like been incredible. What is your advice as far as the affiliate side of being a long standing top number one affiliate for high level?
I just say consistency, right? People that might jump in for a second and then jump out or whatever, in the standings, rankings, or whatever, all time, depending on how you want to view it. It's just consistency over a long period of time, like I was talking about earlier. And so, like sometimes people might, and I fall prey to this too, right? Like I'll do something and it works, and then you do it again and you do it again, and then it gets boring, and you're like, oh, this routine is kind of getting monotonous, so you stop doing it, and then it stops working as well. But it's like, okay, get back to, if something works, keep doing it and do it every day or every week or how often the cadence is, and then don't change it until you find something that works better. So always be like testing and seeing like, okay, I'll try, like this is doing well with getting leads or traction or traffic. I'll try a different opt-in headline or different follow-up emails or different angle for the videos or whatever it might be. And then if you find something that works, then double down on it and just keep doing it until you find something that might work slightly better. And the truth is, I feel like to really grow and scale this thing, once you find something that works, which I've outlined almost everything that I do on my YouTube channel. Once you find something that works, the things that like really move the needle are just these minor adjustments. It's like change the email subject headline, or change, like send one more email or one less email, or it's just, there's such slight adjustments, but it's still doing the same core thing every day, every week, every month, right? Over a longer period of time than anyone else. And it's funny because like I was on this interview last week, and this guy was like, acting like he'd been in the digital marketing game forever. And he was like telling me about like, yeah, like I'm, one of the OGs. When I came in, this guy was doing this and this and this. And you can tell, like, I mean, I've been in this for like over a decade, which I know there's people longer than me, but it's just funny because I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know about the time you came in, because like that's when that person transitioned from selling this to this. And so it's just like, and I think Frank Kern was saying it at this last summit. He's like, I'm a legend in the industry just because I haven't died off yet. I feel like that's, the longer I'm in it, I feel like that's more true, because now people are looking at me like, oh man, dude, you're doing all these amazing things. And I'm like, honestly, it's just because I haven't died off yet. It's like, because I'm still doing the same old crap. Like, it's not like I'm better than anyone else. It's just I've done it for a longer period of time, more consistently than the next person.
I know, I get that a lot too. Like, you're still around, Stacia's still doing it. Yes, I am still never going to give up. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. And then like I'm going to actually link your last video to your thoughts on Frank Kern, because I'm also a huge Frank Kern follower as well. I've bought in his courses, and he is famous for being like, oh, I was doing this, it was working, and I just stopped. So
Yep.
don't
Yep, exactly.
like, why did I stop what was working? Keep doing what's working. I think as an entrepreneur, a lot of my friends who are entrepreneur, we just get bored and they're like, oh, there must be something else. There must be some other shiny object that works better. And then it's like, well, why did you even change it? If it ain't broke, don't change it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know you got to head out, but thank you so much for sharing your behind the scenes on growing your SaaS business, and as an affiliate, being a top affiliate for HIghlevel has been very inspirational for me, and I hope it was a learning experience for all of you. Do you have any other last thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I just say, if you're looking at getting started, jump in with Stacia's link in a HIghlevel. Have her help you. She's awesome. She knows. She's on my calls almost every week. So she, like, if you guys want to like double dip on both of our brains, jump in with her, because you're going to be able to get kind of both of our brain power there. And then just make a long-term commitment and decision to make this happen. Begin with the end in mind, and reverse engineer the life you want.
Thanks. I know. One last thing too. I mean, with either way you go, right? I just am a huge proponent to this, obviously, to this way of marketing and starting your own SaaS business. I mean, this is one thing I actually didn't ask you. I'm sure you probably spent millions and dollars of just investing your time and developers' times doing this yourself. But literally, I mean, being straight up, starting a SaaS business with HIghlevel, it's $497 a month, plus maybe $297 for HL Pro Tools. What other expenses would you say people would have? They've really cut out thousands of dollars starting from scratch. But I know what other expenses do you think, other than maybe even hire? You don't even have to hire someone right away, but it's
Yeah,
not a lot.
even at that, I would just do $497 for HIghlevel. I would forget HL Pro Tools. I mean, love those guys over there, but at the beginning, it's like, until you have demand, like until
Right.
you have, like, I'd say 15, 20 people that's actually taking enough amount of your time, just do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to spend the extra $300 a month. Then once you're like, okay, this is getting to be a little bit much, I want to just focus on client acquisition. Yeah, fork out the $300 extra per month. But guess what? If you have 15, 20 clients, you're already making enough to pay
Cover
that.
all those expenses.
So
Yeah.
you got all your expenses covered. And then from there, it just kind of, I mean, yeah, I think those are the kind of the core things. And then it kind of just depends on the angle, how you want to grow, how fast you want to grow, all those different things, as far as investing into the business.
Cool. All right, guys, that's it. If you're watching me live, of course, you know what to do. Go to staciakennedy.com and get all of the tools and step-by-step training that you need. Get your free trial, and then you'll also get an additional trainings of even more videos and tutorials of how to get clients, acquisition, setting up your SaaS business, and then you'll also get access to my weekly mastermind. So go ahead and do that. Go to staciakennedy.com. And if you're of course, this is actually going to be underneath that training too later. So again, thank you so much for watching. Much love and aloha, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Thanks, Stacia.